welcome everybody to today's webinar. We have the privilege to have Rico Vallejos with us. He's going to be the presenter today. We're going to start talking about the NAHREP 10. And this is going to be a series of about 11, 12 sessions. And actually it's going to be more like 24 because we have 2 sessions per each one. One is going to be an English version and one is going to be the Spanish version. So Rico is going to be with the Latino Chamber of Commerce for a while, for a few months. And I hope everybody in our membership would enjoy all this time. This is really, really important information. And let's open up our minds and receive all this financial information to make sure that we have a successful future as a Latino community here. The Latino Chamber of Commerce really welcomes everybody, and we hope that we count with your participation in all of these sessions. And with that, please, if you have any questions about the information on this webinar, let's wait until Rico is done with the presentation so you can post your questions. You can use the chat icon at the bottom of your screen so you can ask the questions, and then Rico is going to read those and probably respond accordingly. As I told you, Rico Vallejos is our presenter today. I'm going to just read a brief introduction for him. Rico's speaking engagements include keynotes, workshops, and lectures in corporate, educational, and community settings such as 3M, University of Minnesota Carson School of Management, Public Relations Society of America, University of St. Thomas, Target, Florida State University, Hispanic and Multicultural Marketing Conferences, and a wide range of different organizations. So Rico in this occasion is very experienced, and he has gone through all the certification required to talk about the NAHREP 10. With that, I will let Rico continue with his presentation. Welcome, Rico, and I hope you feel comfortable and good with participating with the Latino Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Fabio, for everybody. This is the first of 12 sessions. We're talking about the NAHREP 10. These are 10 disciplines or 10 principles of financial and wealth, basically. Principles of wealth, overall wealth is more than just money. It includes spiritual health and physical health and relationships and family. So it's a really comprehensive, in some ways, blueprint for success. You know, not all of us are, in some cases, some of us are really good at one of these and not others. And so I think all of us can really learn, including all of us who are certified trainers, to keep working on these 10 basic principles for success and for wealth. And we'll see the reason why we need to focus on that in the Latino communities in the US. This is, like I said, one of 12. Today we'll do the intro, overview of the NAHREP 10, the 10 principles. Then each month for the next 10 months, we will focus more in depth into each one of the 10 principles or 10 disciplines of the NAHREP 10. And the last month, which will be month number 12, we will do a review. This is what we've seen this year, and we will, again, we'll do a review, and there will be, guess what, in this area, there's new information all the time. So we will do a review with any new data, any new information we have. One piece of data, I'll talk about that when we get to that slide, is something that tells us where we are as a Latino community in the US. A little context. A few years ago, I had the pleasure of working on this project. It's a resource guide for success in this country. It's in Spanish. It's publication, it's a national publication, La Voz de la Plaza, with my client Verizon. And we cover topics like financial education, how this economy works, business topics, and details about money management and things like budgeting. And I loved working on that. Some of us in the team continued with other projects to help our communities. This one is a health topic. And also about 10 years ago, actually, I developed a 24 value program for a healthcare client, and they still use it to this day. When I was asked a few years ago to present on the Latino affluent market, the upscale Latino market, I researched the topic. It was very interesting to work on that, and found an organization called NAHREP. I wasn't aware of them, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. I loved that they have an initiative that they call the Hispanic Wealth Project. The 3 goals of the project are housing, entrepreneurship, and savings and investment. These are key to the well-being of families and individuals in our communities. The overall goal is to triple household wealth. This program began in 2014, so we can see how we're doing. The data comes from the Federal Reserve, and the next numbers will come out next year. So when we do, in a year from now, we will do the review of the NAHREP10. We should have the data for 2023, actually, but we will see how close we are to our goal. I do a fair amount of work for clients in financial services. So I decided to become an NAHREP10 certified trainer. It wasn't easy, but it's a wonderful thing because this is all, like I said, volunteer work. And now we'll take a quick look at all NAHREP10, and then we'll go into detail about each one. So in this presentation, we'll just fly through the 10 so you can see them, and then I'll get a little more into depth, but not too much into each one. And then again, monthly, we will go in depth. 1, develop a mature understanding of wealth and prosperity, because the one with the most toys usually loses. 2, be in the top 10% of your profession, because being good is not good enough. 3, live below your means, because downturns are a regular part of our economic cycle. Be ready for the next recession. 4, minimize debt, because it is the greatest enemy of wealth. 5, invest at least 20% of your income in real estate and stocks, because they are the best and safest ways to build wealth. Investing in other businesses does not count. 6, know your net worth, including the value of your business, because you can't improve what you don't measure. 7, be politically savvy, because public policy matters. 8, stay physically fit, because wealth without health is meaningless. 9, be generous with people who are less fortunate, because philanthropy feeds your heart and spirit and gives more purpose to your work. 10, be active in the lives of your family and children, because family is central to who we are, and nothing will motivate you more. Now let's look at the 10. Principle or discipline number 1. Develop a mature understanding of wealth and prosperity, because the one with the most toys usually loses. What toys? Toys are the things that we don't need, things that are optional, luxuries in some cases, but which sometimes take a lot of our money. Cars beyond the necessary, clothes beyond the necessary. We can use the word fashion maybe, but yeah, sometimes it's needed professionally, sometimes it's not. Jewelry. What do these things have in common? They devalue, unlike other things that appreciate over time. Another example of a toy is a boat, a motorboat. That's why they say that the 2 best days of the boat owner are the day they buy it and the day they sell it. Although there are many joyful days in between. I have to kind of not always agree with that, but I mean, that goes to the point. And that's the point that Nelly Galan has when she says, don't buy shoes, buy buildings. She's talking about investing. If instead of buying toys, we invest that money, let's say in a retirement account or savings for the children's education or property, that investment is going to grow over time. And the toys, after a while, are worthless. So what steps can we take to develop and strengthen that mature understanding of money and wealth? Let's educate ourselves. You're doing a good thing today, watching this and enjoying and taking part of this seminar. but there are also many resources online. Just be careful with the source. Look at who publishes it and use resources from reputable organizations and publications. In our monthly sessions, we'll cover each of these in depth and point you to good sources. Sources vary quite a bit, so they will be very current when we do them. Principle number 2, be in the top 10% of your profession, because being good is not good enough. In other words, don't settle for mediocrity. Take advantage of resources on LinkedIn and other professional sites. And again, good for you. You are advancing yourself professionally by being on this webinar. And keep doing what you're doing. Continue, take advantage, see what else the Chamber offers, great events, online, in person, show up. Some people, somebody famous, I forget who it was, someone famous says, the world belongs to those who show up. There is some element of truth there. You show up and things happen. So also, yeah, that's why it's important to do networking. The Chamber is really great at organizing networking events every so often to connect with other professionals. So it pays to be a member of Chambers of Commerce and such groups. 3, live below your means, because downturns are a regular part of our economic cycle. Be ready for the next recession. For many of us here today, this may feel counterintuitive because we're business owners or immigrants or entrepreneurs, and therefore we are optimists by nature. We are optimists, which is a good thing. But when we talk about recession, that feels so pessimistic. It's like, let's not talk about that. Don't be pessimistic. Things are great, are going to be better. Well, we have to keep in mind that business cycle fluctuations are the norm. And during recessions, at market lows, is when many people who have money and can take advantage of the deals that are out there, they buy businesses, buy houses, buy other properties. And when the cycle goes up, their wealth also goes up during the expansion. So this is one reason why we need to have a nice surplus and be mindful of the cycles that the economy has. How to live below your income? Use some of the applications or versions of a budget. There are so many. Again, we'll get into detail when we get to this point in a couple of months. This is one of many ideas for creating a budget. Divide your expenses, your family expenses, business expenses, into fixed and variable expenses. Fixed expenses are things that do not change. Whether we work or not, whether we do well or not in our business, they are fixed. Variables are things that vary with our work and business activity. Let's say I lose my job. Well, I don't have to drive to work maybe. I always drive to work. I save some money on gas and I put less miles on the car and so on. So these also include optional expenses, luxuries, when we treat ourselves and go out and have fun. Another way to look at things is to divide our monthly expenses into needs and wants. Here are the needs. It looks like a lot of, they kind of look like a lot of the fixed expenses, don't they? But they may be different. And the wants are the optionals, things that we can cut if we need to. So now if you're in a relationship, all your expenses are needs and all your partner's expenses are wants and therefore optional. That's a classic situation when financial planners meet with couples, with people in relationships. So this is not good advice for marital bliss. What does it mean to live below your means? Look at this amazing goal. One definition is having the goal of living on 20% of your total income before taxes. And then you save and invest the surplus. Are we at 70 today, at 50, at 30? Try to bring it down as much as you can. If you can bring it to 20, that would be great. Then you have 80% of your income that you can, not, I wouldn't say play with. You can actually invest and do other things and take advantage. For example, during a downturn, minimize debt, because it is the greatest enemy of wealth. Some people say that there is good debt and bad debt, but in reality, all debt is bad. Maybe the exception is the purchase of your home, your residence, because it's very likely to go up in value, and you don't have to pay rent to anyone, which is a regular expense. Rent also goes up and is an expense, so you want to avoid rent if you can avoid it. But be careful how much down payment you put down. Try as much as you can, and be careful with your monthly payments. Definitely put more than the minimum down payment that they ask for, because your monthly payments may be only the beginning. Home ownership is not like paying rent. There are repairs, updates, and a number of expenses, some of them unexpected expenses that pop up. So be realistic about it. Now, talking about investment properties. If you go into debt with a mortgage loan for an investment property, you have to be much more careful. Yes, you're investing, but it really does pay to put a larger down payment. During the Great Recession, some of us know people who over-leveraged themselves and ended up losing everything. They were investing, they lost it all. Read the book, This Time is Different, for context on this. Because I know people that when they heard what I just said, they will say, oh, that was the Great Recession. This time is different. Read the book. There are options though. Consider other real estate investment alternatives without a lot of risk, as much risk at least. One example is a REIT, a real estate investment trust, and work with professionals to get it right. There are a lot of options out there, a lot of advice out there. Remember that there is wisdom in multitude of counsel, and there is a lot of counsel out there, good counsel. Just work with people that you can trust and who are competent. Back to the general debt situation, and do this search on the internet, any search engine you want. Avoid debt or getting out of debt. And you can do it in any language, in Spanish, in French, in any language that you feel comfortable with. You will find a lot of great information. However, in English, there's more. There's more recent information. Some of the things I see in Spanish are translations of what I see in English. So in English, there is a wealth of information, many resources out there. Just to remind you to be careful to click only on good sources, magazines or sites you know, not just any website. 5, we're almost half there. Invest at least 20% of your income in real estate and stocks because they are the best and safest way to build wealth. Investing in other businesses does not count. Why not invest in other businesses? I've been asked that many times. Because investing in a business is a very risky investment, and you are more likely to lose all the capital you invested. You can lose it all, not even get a return. When compared to other investments, professional investors who invest business for a living, they invest in businesses, they buy businesses as investment, usually evaluate 300 companies to find one that they want to invest in. We don't have the time, nor the expertise, not the experience to do this. That's why the 3 F's are used to describe typical investors in many small businesses. And that's the way they talk about it because it's so true. If you don't have a retirement account, I implore you to please open one. Either an IRA, there are several types. Many people recommend a Roth IRA or 401k, but do get the right advice for your situation. This is why it's important to work with somebody who is good and that you trust. If you're employed and your employer offers a 401k program, please take advantage of it. Usually it'll be your investment, your savings will be matched by your employer, so it's some of the best investment that you can do. 6, know your net worth, including the value of your business, because you can't improve what you don't measure. What is net worth? Let's talk about the difference between income and net worth. Income, what you earn, is usually measured by year and can fluctuate fluctuate from year to year. Your net worth is what you have. Did you know that many people who make a lot of money have a low net worth? And there are people who don't make as much money and have a much higher net worth. Here's a quick look. On the left column, you put what you have. Put there only things that have real value, like money in bank accounts, things that you can convert into money quickly. Don't put jewelry, clothes, furniture, things like that could not be sold easily. And if you sell them, you get very little money. On the other side, you put what you owe, all liabilities. In this example, it's for a homeowner. We're using a home value of 300,000, let's see, 400,000 total. Let's say that the home value here is $350,000, and this person has, or these people have $50,000 in other assets, maybe some savings account, some other things, cash. Total assets, 400,000. The total of what they owe, which includes the balance of the mortgage in their house, is $230,000. So their net worth is $170,000. It's not that hard to calculate. You just need to remember to put everything. So many times we do the thing and then we forget something critical, either an asset or a liability that we didn't think of. So just do, it pays to do this thing. Here's another example, negative net worth. In this example, we're talking about someone who is not a homeowner. Maybe they have student loans. So the assets minus liabilities result in a negative net worth of $30,000. Basically, we can say that they're underwater $30,000. That's okay for a lot of people, a lot of young professionals. You start that way and you get out of underwater and you start building up. But this is good. It's a good idea to calculate your net worth at least once a year. That's a good thing. Some people do it too often, monthly, quarterly, maybe twice a year, once a year is a good time to actually check that out. It depends on, again, so many things depend on you. This is a very individual thing, very private thing, and intimate thing too. So 7, be politically savvy because public policy matters. And we're not necessarily talking about getting involved in political parties. Democrats have their priorities, Republicans are theirs, and we have ours. A lot of public policy impacts us quite a bit as a Latino community. We have one of the youngest populations in the country. We have high levels of entrepreneurship, and we present unique needs and opportunities. Our issues include access to credit, housing, immigration, and others like small business, health, education, employment. All these issues affect us, our families, our children, and our businesses. One issue is the barriers to starting and growing a business. And think how difficult it is to start a business in many of the countries we come from. I won't even begin to tell you about Argentina, but this country is an amazing, wonderful country to start a business. Yet we want to make sure that we don't have extra barriers that we don't need to have. So get involved in local, state, and national issues. Know who your area representatives are and try to influence them on issues of importance to you. No matter what party they're from, they represent us, and many actually listen. And we need to educate them about how laws affect us. In Minnesota, we have the MCLA, the Minnesota Council on Latino Affairs. You can get information on public policy issues and keep up to date in English or Spanish. And you can do this whether you're a citizen or not, because if you reside here, you're a part of the society and you have a voice, actually, maybe not a vote. Stay physically fit. Number 8, because wealth without health is meaningless. This principle was not among NAHREP's disciplines in the beginning, but many members requested it because health affects many things, including our professional performance. There are many resources for this in the community. If we are fit, we sleep better and we have less stress. We can be healthy in body and mind. So let's get moving, go dancing, go to the gym. There are so many options. And there are still benefits to simply walking regularly, several times a week. You can find a club or trail near where you work or live and take advantage of the beautiful parks and trails that we have all over the place. There are state parks, county parks, city parks, and regional parks like this one, and trails all over the place. These are just the state trails. There are many other local trails. And in many of these parks, you can rent equipment. You don't need to buy things. In fact, that's one thing. Don't buy a toy. You buy a canoe, how many times are you going to use it? Maybe go rent one. They always have the latest. You want to do cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, you can rent them. You buy skis, typically they have fairly new ones. If you buy a pair this year, in 2 years you'll want to upgrade to the latest and greatest, especially a snowboard. This is a combination of physical health and financial health. Go take advantage of the great places you can go and you can rent. When we do the physical in a few months, we're going to get more in detail on being in shape. We'll talk a little bit about nutrition and a little bit about fitness, about the importance of resistance training. You need to do some weights, and also the importance of aerobic, and the alternative to do HIIT, H-I-I-T, high intensity interval training. So we'll get into more of those things in each of the monthly in-depth views. Here we go. 9, we're in the home stretch. Be generous with people who are less fortunate, because philanthropy feeds your heart and spirit and gives more purpose to your work. Being generous with those who are less fortunate and with causes that improve society does nourish our spirit. Generosity is one of the happiest, healthiest habits that we can practice and develop. Look at that word, purpose. There are scientific studies, conferences, and TED Talks that address the importance of purpose in life. And they show that having purpose is more important and more satisfying than pursuing happiness. So I want to be happy, have a purpose, and give to your purpose and be generous. When we give of our time and resources, both financial and otherwise, we can say that this is enlightened self-interest in a sense. Support nonprofit organizations with donations and also with volunteer work in their operations, and serve on their board of directors. We'll go in depth on how you can give of your time, talent, and treasure during the month of this discipline number 9. 10, with this we wrap it up. Be active in the lives of your family and children, because family is central to who we are and nothing will motivate you more. Familia is a central theme in our Latino communities. So why do I show these parks again? Because this is what I like to do today and what I did a lot when my kids were little, when they were in the home. And those moments are among the happiest times together. I took them to almost all the state parks and national and regional parks, and mostly state and regional. The local parks and trails in the Twin Cities, we actually did, I took the kids there for, biking, cycling, so many of the wonderful bicycle trails. So use the links, by the way. I can email you a copy of this PDF, of this PowerPoint in a PDF format, with clickable links. So some of the things here have a link that you can click and go visit some of these places. Otherwise, you can also, they're really easy to find. If you type Minnesota trails, boom, you'll find a lot of these sites. Minnesota parks, Twin City parks, all those searches will result in great opportunities for doing things. Even in the winter, I must have walked hundreds of miles up the hills, usually towing one of my kids in their sled, sometimes towing 2 sleds. So I got my workout, spending so much time with the kids like that. And these have been the 10 principles of NAHREP, the NAHREP10. Let's use them to live fuller lives. Before I continue with the Q&A, I want to mention that NAHREP has a local group in Minnesota, NAHREP Twin Cities. Take advantage of what they offer and their events. And again, there is a clickable link. Same thing with the Latino Chamber of Commerce, Minnesota. They organize this NAHREP series, so thank you. And they organize a lot of great events. You click up there on the calendar, programs and services, and then the link is a clickable link. You can also go there. And with that, I say, gracias, thank you very much for your attention. And we can entertain any comments, questions. Now we'll have a time for a Q&A.
Yeah, thank you, Rico. Really, this is a very holistic idea on how to
I like the word holistic. Yeah, holistic is right. Yes.
Yes, because includes family, includes your well-being, your moving, your physical activities, include helping other people, includes, you know, financial literacy, and it includes all, you know, a wide variety of variables that will make your financial life, you know, successful. I think it is not so complicated, but sometimes you know, sometimes we don't have that education. You know, sometimes you come to this country as an immigrant and you kind of start over and try to paddle in a system that is already created, and you don't have the tools and you don't have yet all the information needed to really be successful at it. And I think this is a good project here. I can see it, how all this information can help a lot of our Latino businesses and families too, to make ourselves, or put ourselves at the next level, at a different level.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, you're right. And that is this is actually looking at wealth as holistic wealth, looking at a very broad view of what wealth is. And in our cultures, sometimes when we talk about money or wealth, it's like, oh, no, I want happiness. I don't care about money. No, happiness is and love. I want love, and that's what will fulfill me. I don't need money. Like those people who look for money and then they drop dead of a heart attack because they worked so hard and they were so tensed and everything else. And the right healthy view of wealth is a holistic view of wealth. Wealth is my physical wealth, my spiritual wealth, my emotional wealth, my family, friends, and that flow of energy. I cannot wait to the month when we speak about being philanthropic and being generous, because there's so much there. And so this is actually not technically a financial literacy 101 program. Those are good too. And some of the chapters that we'll see when we go in depth every month, we will have some details that are basically financial literacy 101. But ideally, you'll take advantage of, there are many programs, many other organizations have those, and it's always good to learn personal finance 101, financial literacy 101, home buyer, especially if you're a first home buyer. By all means, watch the videos, go to the presentations, talk to people who specialize in the opportunities and the pitfalls of a first-time home buyer. So there are very specific things, and this is actually an umbrella, and we could put many of those other trainings under it. This year, we're going to get in depth into a lot of these. So yes, some of what we will see does fall into financial literacy 101, but it's a lot broader because we want to really help. It's not what we know, but what we practice. And we sometimes we know some things and we don't do them. So we'll try to tackle from as many angles as we can, so that we can really make progress on each one of these. We have this beautiful, in English only, business card size NAHREP10. And so 1 to 5 in one side, 6 to 10 on the other. They are little business cards, and I carry them on me. If you see me out in the community, besides my own business card, I should have those on me as well. And then we have these cards. These cards are fully bilingual, English and Spanish. They're a little bigger than the business card, but I have these too many times on me if I have a briefcase with me or something. So we want to share this freely and as much as possible, so more people can really be exposed to some of these good tips, good ideas, good concepts that we can apply in our lives.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Rico. I think here at the Latino Chamber of Commerce, obviously, we provide a lot of support to Latino businesses, but we understand that behind a business, there is the person, there is a business owner, there is a business, the family of the business owner, there are families behind the businesses that also need some kind of support. And that's one of the reasons why we have been, we are partnering with Rico and doing all of these series of webinars. So we hope that on the next webinars, we'll have, good participation because all this information is very relative to our Latino families. We need, as a community, we need to go to the next level. And these ideas, as basic as you could probably see them, are the base of what we need to do to be successful in the future. So we appreciate you, Rico, helping us out with this, and we invite and motivate our membership base to participate in each one of them. If you were not able to connect today, this is a recorded webinar, so we will be posting this webinar in our website, www.latinochambermn.com, and we'll exactly that one, and we'll post it in there, as well as any of the other series or the other webinars with it. This one is the version in English. Soon, in a week or so, we'll have the Spanish version of it, and we'll be promoting and advertising those coming in the next few days. So make sure you participate. We're inviting all of our membership to participate, in anybody in the Latino community to come and absorb this information from our presenter here, Rico Vallejos. With that, Rico, any last words before we end our presentation today?
Thank you for your attention. If you're watching the recording, in this case, depending on when you're watching it, come to this website, latinochambermn.com, click on the event calendar, and see what, if it is within 2023 or early 2024, you may still catch some of the live sessions that we will do. And we do two a month, one in English, one in Spanish. We're going to cover all of these over the course of a year. So by all means, visit that link on the Latino Chamber website.
Yes.
And thank you for your
Yes.
attention.
Thank you, Rico. And also, if you watch the recording of this video and you have any question, just send it over. We have the contact information in our website. Send the question, we'll share it with Rico, and Rico will probably respond as soon as possible with the right answer. That's Rico's contact information right there if you want to send it directly to him.
Yes, you can email either one, and we will sync the conversation, because we want to keep track of involvement and how people are using this and how we can improve. So Fabio and I will be working together, so you can email either one of us, whatever is easier for you, and we'll address any questions that you have.
All right, perfect. With that, I think we appreciate your participation, and we invite you for the next series. And hopefully you have a great day. And Rico, thank you so much for helping us out with this.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you all.